it was really, I was into it at a young age, just like I guess a lot of kids could be. They've got some rubbish camera, and when you're off on holiday at the age of 10 or 11 photographing things. But it wasn't until I went rummaging through my dad's closet and I found his Pentax Spotmatic DSLR, and I think I was about 13, 14 then, and I just like the look of it. I went out into the garden. It was a nice sunny day, no film in the camera, and I just, looking right through the lens, it just inspired me. Just seeing things in a frame like that, and focusing, and seeing perspective. So I got a film probably a couple of days later, and started photographing around my neighbourhood, and of all kinds of little things, even the kind of maybe things of toy soldiers and stuff as you would do at that age. That was really, it was very instant though. Once I got that camera in my hands, I said to myself, oh, this is what I want to do. Where I guess I'd wanted to be all kinds of things in my life before then, but before that I was in a bit of a stage where I just didn't know what I wanted anymore, and so so from that moment I realised, right, what do I need to do to go to college or something like that? What grades do I need to get? And otherwise, if I didn't have that, I would have just flunked everything, I think.
I picked up a camera for probably the first time properly about 3 years ago. I was going on holiday to Italy and thought I'd buy a decent camera and I'd take better pictures, and I took absolutely horrible pictures, and it really annoyed me, and that was kind of the incentive to find out a little bit more.
I bought my first kind of DSLR camera about 5 or 6 years ago now. We were going on a family Christmas holiday to Canada, and I just thought it might be a good way to kind of capture the mountains, the scenery out there, stunning. So yeah, it was kind of just a want really, just to get good quality pictures of a holiday that got me into it.
Photography for me is completely a curiosity thing. I was introduced to the kite aerial photography with a friend of a friend. I kind of watched on the internet as to what was going on, and eventually I sort of bought my own gear and got involved that way. I kind of started off with sort of small cameras to lift with smaller kites, and then as time went on, I bought myself a digital SLR, and then found new things on the internet to try out. So that's how I kind of got into it.
It started about 10 years ago. I bought a little point and shoot camera, and I was going to take my first trip abroad to Seattle. So kind of needed a camera to capture moments, etc, etc. Took it over there, came back, absolutely loved it, really got into photography. It's an amazing city, so there's loads of things to photograph. Came back and decided, let's get something a bit bigger, something a bit more, something which should give me some quality images. I went for an SLR camera and never looked back really.
I guess I got involved through Grange House. When I was at Grange House, I found that I wasn't really getting involved with the painting and stuff like that very much. I sort of spoke to my tutors, and I found out I was a bit of a perfectionist, and basically everything that I did I wasn't happy with because it just wasn't perfect. And then I sort of realised that I was doing a lot of photography in my spare time, so every project that we got I tried to turn it into photography. So yeah, from there really.
Well, I studied art at Highlands College, and I used to take photos mainly as inspiration for projects rather than drawing. I didn't think I was very good at drawing, so I used to just take pictures. And then I got into the AS photography course, so I passed that, and then since then just try and always take a camera with me wherever I go and just snap away as much as possible.
Well, a long time ago now. It's just over 30 years ago. I know I don't look old enough to have been involved that long, but it's something even when I was at school here I wanted to try, but never had access to a camera. You know, not everyone, hardly anyone had cameras in those days, basically. And it's only when I went away to university, and there they had a photographic society where you could join, and you could actually borrow a little pool of cameras and some lenses and so on. And yes, it was hard to get them because there was quite a demand and a queue for them, but yeah, you could book one out for a weekend, and I slowly started from there. Then bought my own camera, and gradually sort of just built up from that. You know, taking things, whatever I was doing. Generally, when I was out and about, I used to do a lot of rock climbing then and things like that. So there was always a camera clipped onto my harness, and holidays and so on. So yeah, quite a long time ago now. Right.
I did go to college and study photography, but way before then, I was given a little compact camera, like lots of children were. And by the age of 8, I'd won my first photo prize. It was at school, and they probably felt sorry for me. But I won a prize, and I won another prize, and it was quite quickly became absorbed into photography. So got a couple more little cameras, and then my grandmother bought me a very basic SLR camera when I was 14. And I haven't really lost the interest.
It started as a hobby when I came to Jersey 10 years ago. I bought a compact camera and started taking seascape photos, and upgraded to the semi-professional camera.
I think it stems back to my mother. She's always been a very keen photographer, not in a professional capacity, but just documenting family life, I suppose, and I think that rubbed off on me eventually, and I eventually went to art school to further develop my interest in photography.
Photography for me started when I decided to have a break from work and go travelling, and I went travelling around the world. I got a ticket around the world, visiting lots of different countries, and I decided to take a camera with me, and I hadn't really touched photography before, so I bought a semi-decent camera, which was not going to be something that was too bulky for travelling, but you know, good enough to take a good picture, and went travelling around the world, just kept taking lots of pictures, documenting my travels. You know, I would email home and my friends saying what a great time I was having, but one of the best ways for me, rather than writing down what I was doing, was photographing and documenting what I was doing. So I got into it like that really, and then towards the end of the trip I remember sitting on a beach in Southwest Australia in my last week of travels of 8 months, and I thought, what am I going to do when I go home? I just don't want to go back into what I was doing before, you know. And I just thought, why don't I just get into photography? You know, I've been loving it out here. Can I make money when I get back? And so I pushed hard when I got back, did a little exhibition, and did some assisting work with other photographers, and got into it that way.